There is a piece of wisdom that is both simple and profoundly unsettling, and it goes something like this. Our experience of a thing is not determined by the thing itself, but by the story we believe about it. This is not a call to be more positive. It is a direct assault on our most cherished assumption, that we are rational beings who can judge the intrinsic quality of the world around us. We believe we can recognize beauty, genius, and value as inherent properties. But what if these qualities are not in the object, but in the narrative we attach to it? I want to take you to the art world of the 1930s, a world of hushed galleries, learned connoisseurs, and a near-religious reverence for the old masters. In this world, the Dutch painter Johannes Vermeer was a god. His works were incredibly rare and considered the absolute pinnacle of artistic achievement. Then, in 1937, a miracle happened. A previously unknown masterpiece, a religious scene called the Supper at Emmaus, was discovered. It was brought to the most respected art historian of the era, Abraham Bredius. He examined it, and his reaction was not one of academic appreciation, it was one of rapture. He declared it not just a Vermeer, but Vermeer's greatest masterpiece. He wrote, "We have here I am inclined to say, the masterpiece of Johannes Vermeer of Delft, a moment of supreme sublime art." The art world was electrified. The painting was purchased for a fortune and placed in a museum. People came from all over to stand before it, and they were moved to tears. They saw genius in every brushstroke. They felt a profound spiritual connection to the work. The story was perfect, a lost treasure, rediscovered, revealing a new, more passionate side of a revered master. The experience was real, the awe was real, and the painting was a complete fraud. It was painted in 1936 by a moderately talented, deeply resentful Dutch artist named Han van Meegeren. He was a man who felt the art world had unfairly dismissed his own work, so he devised the ultimate revenge. He didn't just copy Vermeer, he decided to become him. He spent years mastering the 17th century techniques, mixing his own pigments and buying old canvases. He even built a special oven to bake the paintings, to perfectly simulate the centuries of aging and cracking. He had not just forged a painting, he had forged a story. And the story was so good, it was bulletproof. The truth only came out by accident. After World War II, Van Meegeren was arrested for collaborating with the enemy because he had sold another one of his Vermeers to the Nazi leader, Hermann Göring. Facing a potential death sentence for treason for selling a Dutch national treasure, Van Meegeren made a desperate, unbelievable confession. "You fools. I didn't sell a masterpiece. I painted it myself." The authorities, the experts, the entire art world refused to believe him. It was more plausible that he was a traitor than that their greatest experts had been so profoundly duped. His forgery was considered too good to be a forgery. To save himself from a firing squad, he had to prove his own fraud. In a courtroom drama for the ages, he painted one last Vermeer while under police guard. This is the moment where the philosophical bomb detonates. When Van Meegeren's confession was finally proven true, what happened to the supper at Emmaus? The physical object did not change. The arrangement of oil and pigment on the canvas was identical. But the genius vanished. The sublime masterpiece became a curiosity, a clever fake. The tears of awe were replaced by the cold sweat of embarrassment. The thing itself was the same. But the story was broken, and so the experience was shattered. Van Meegeren's story is not about art, it is a story about the architecture of our own minds. It reveals that our reality is not built on a foundation of objective truth, but on a scaffolding of narratives. The value of a luxury brand, the charisma of a leader, the very taste of a fine wine, all are shaped, and often created, by the story we are told. It is a humbling and powerful realization. It forces us to ask, how many of the masterpieces in our own lives, our beliefs, our assumptions, our unquestioned values, are we admiring simply because the story is good? And what happens when we have the courage to find out who really holds the brush?